Duval. The Jacksonville Jaguars just took down the Broncos by a score of 34-20. A few weeks ago, I felt like people were overreacting to Trevor Lawrence, so I came out and said this. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be that guy. I feel like a lot of people were giving takes about Trevor Lawrence, and they don't actually watch the Jaguars. And over the last few weeks, Trevor Lawrence has been playing absolutely spectacular. He has gotten comfortable in Liam Cohen's offense. This team has been playing great football. I feel like they've been kind of underrated over the last few weeks, and they had a key matchup against one of, if not the best defense in the league, in the Denver Broncos, and they stepped up to this play. And they, in shocking fashion, made the Broncos defense look human. The Jacksonville Jaguars with this win proved to me that they can compete with the top teams in this league. They just beat up on the best defense in the league. So they can really go out and match any other team's defense. And I'm going to be excited to see what they do in the playoffs. On the Broncos side, I know this is going to sound crazy, but you're okay. Yes, you went in here and lost against Jacksonville. But like I said before, I think Jacksonville is a really underrated team. I think they're great. And honestly, I think you guys were just due for a loss like this. You've won like, what, 11 or 12 straight in a row. So you were due for a loss like this. You were due for a game where the defense didn't play as great as we know that they can play. You were due for a game where Bo Nix was missing throws, receivers were dropping balls. You were just due a game like this. And it's better for this game to come before the playoffs versus actually happening in the playoffs. This is a loss you can take on the chin. You can go back to the drawing board, be like, hey, we were winning for a while, but what did Jacksonville do to us to make us essentially just inefficient on both sides of the ball? And that way you carry that knowledge into the playoffs. This is a loss that I think is kind of good for you. A lot of your team can learn from this. Bo Nix is going to look at tape and learn a lot from this. But today we're going to take a look at the highlights and kind of talk about some of my thoughts in this game, because there's a lot of things that I love from both of these teams that I saw, some things that I hated, particularly on the Broncos side of the thing. But let's talk about it. So in this first half, I thought Bo Nix played pretty well. It wasn't until the second half where I was like, what's going on? Like here, this is a perfect throw. He throws a dot here. And I'm like, okay, this is going to be a great game between two great teams. This is one of the things I really love to see from Trevor Lawrence today. I also like to see it from Bo Nix, because similarly, I like to watch them throw the ball on a run. Trevor Lawrence was really using his legs today. He was getting out of that pocket. We know how great that defensive line of the Broncos are, and they got to him a few times. His offensive line for the majority of the game stood strong, but they did have plays where they were just like letting up. And Trevor Lawrence detected that pressure. He was getting outside of the pocket. He was making runs. He was committing. Because, you know, my problem with Trevor Lawrence, or at least what I've had with him in the past, is sometimes with Trevor Lawrence, you'll see him try to force things when he really doesn't need to, right? And I was telling people, people like to really point out the amount of interceptions he had in that middle part of the season. And I said, okay, are you guys actually looking at when he has those interceptions? Because when you have your interceptions really tells you a lot about what is going on, right? You can have interceptions where you're down, right? You're trying to force a ball because you're trying to make something happen, right? That wasn't what was happening with Trevor Lawrence. He was throwing interceptions when he was up. And it was a thing where I thought he was just forcing things that he didn't have to. And you see in this game, he's not forcing his throws. If he sees an open lane, he takes it. He just tucks the ball down and he runs. He goes outside of the pocket. He waits for something to develop. He doesn't try to force it before it develops. It's been really great to see Trevor Lawrence's development over the last few weeks, because you can tell that Liam Cohen and him probably had a conversation with each other. And they're like, okay, Trevor, this is what I'm saying for you. This is what you should do. You should when you hike the ball, this should be your leading foot. Like things like that are really improving his game that he just hasn't had any other coach do. So you see on this play, he sees like, okay, my pocket is breaking down. He sees something over there. He's like, okay, I'm not going to get that. He runs, he creates time, dot. Great ball by Trevor Lawrence. And Washington had a great game. We'll talk more about him later, but he had a great game today. Another play of exactly what I'm talking about, right? Play action, right? He sees he's getting this. The pressure is coming. He takes the ball down, runs, dive, gets the first down. He does that all game. He knows they're going to get pressure on him, and he makes the right decision. They're in the red zone. He goes back. Look at this. Look at this. Nice throw. Nice catch. Touchdown. Washington had a day, bro. He had a day. Washington, take a bow. Because what impressed me the most with him is not that he was catching like the ball, like obviously, but a lot of his balls that he was catching, they would be like 4-yarders the yards after the catch, bro. He was really incredible today. They were focusing on Myers, which left him in a lot of positions where he was just like, he was cooking, bro. Look at this. Great ball. Great ball by Trevor Lawrence, bro. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about with Trevor Lawrence. This is the stuff I'm talking about. When people think about Clemson, Trevor Lawrence, this is the stuff I like to see. But Bo Nix, he responds. Sitting in the pocket. Dot. 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 And these two drives, I was like, oh, man. They cooking. I was like, both teams are cooking, bro. And then right here, great answer from the Broncos. Great throw from Bo Nix, bro. Great. These are two great quarterbacks. Now on this play, I want people to see how Bo actually threw this touchdown, right? Because he kind of hops back and he still, look at this, off his leg, one leg in the air, and he gets enough oomph on this ball. It's positioned so perfectly for Sutton to catch this ball and the defender not to be able to get it. This is just great by Bo. This is one of the plays where I was like, they were getting to Trevor Lawrence. So it wasn't like he was unscathed this game. They definitely got him a few times, but it was really third downs, right? I know this is a third down, but a lot of times in the second half, they could not get Jacksonville off the field on third downs. They couldn't. This offensive line, like I said, while they did give us some sacks, they played great today. Trevor has time. Look at this. Right in the bucket. Great throw. And it was inevitable that ETN was going to get a good run here. He had a relatively quiet day, but he gave you runs when you needed it like this. Great run by him. But before this run, they were doing a great job of like neutralizing him. They wanted Trevor Lawrence to throw. And look at this. He waits. Nice ball. Nice catch. Touchdown. And then on this drive, we have a beautiful 2-minute drive by the Jags to get the field goal. And I thought the Broncos were playing a bit too conservative here on defense. Like they were playing off. Like I know they just didn't want to give up anything big off the top. But Trevor Lawrence just started picking them apart. That pressure didn't really mean much to him. And y'all know they have a great kicker. They have one of the best kickers in the league. So he was just dotting them up. He was getting to look at this. They were letting those receivers get to the outside and stop the clock. I just thought it wasn't great 2-minute defense to end the half for the Broncos. RJ Harvey. The second half, really, RJ Harvey was the only life on the Broncos offense, in my opinion. He was playing well. He basically did as much as he could, but it just felt like they came out to half and they just really had to sink. This is a great run by Harvey here. This was all him, all heart, because I thought he was done here. And look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Just a great run, bro. Great run. I love his balance after getting hit. He kept his balance. That's my favorite style of like running back. Like I like power backs, don't get me wrong, but I like great balance, bro. I like when somebody gets hit and they like spin and they keep their balance and they keep going. I love to watch that. That was a great run by Harvey, bro. And yeah, bro. Washington was cooking all game. Trev saw something that he liked. And there you go. Washington is basically wide open. And I think what happened on that play is they committed to Myers. And then Washington just hit underneath, and he was wide open there. And then 1st and goal, Trevor Lawrence just takes it in himself, and that's touchdown. And at this point, it's 24-17. I'm like, the Broncos are known for their comebacks. That is one of the things they are great at, are these comebacks. Could they pull another one out here? Then we have Harvey again with another great play. Bo has pressure. Harvey takes it. He fights for that 1st down. Like I said, he was the one that was really giving them life in the second half, because other than that, they were pretty like, Bo here, he has a lot of time, and he just overthrows him. And I think that on the previous play, correct me if I'm wrong, he overthrew him here. And then there's another play right before this where I think he has Sutton. And I think he underthrows him. Yeah, it was a bomb. And Sutton was open. And Bo kind of underthrows him a bit. So Sutton has to come back a tiny bit. And he can't hold. It's a great effort by Sutton because he almost brings it down. But if Bo puts it a little bit more over the top, that's all cash for Sutton. But yeah, this was the drive where Bo just started to miss throws, right? He had 2 throws where I was like, okay, Bo. So he just had a bad day. And it happens. And what I like here is that the Jags did get conservative. They know this is still a 7-point game. They know they're against one of the teams that are known for comebacks, and they are still hammering it home. They're slinging this ball. All effort by Washington again, like I said before. Great yards after catch, bro. And he's still going. He's making people miss. He's getting those extra yards. He's fighting for it. That boy had a day today. And then 4th and goal, old faithful here. ETN on the wheel. There we go. Yep. And touchdown. And at this point, it's 31-17. I'm like, man, it's getting shaky for these Broncos right now. But like I said, at this point, I'm still not committed to 100% because we know what the Broncos can do. But this is just like a bad day for their defense, bro. Then disaster strikes. The ball is fumbled. And then the Jags get the ball back. That's just, I don't know what, this is miscommunication. It looks like Bo tried to grab it, but he didn't really get all of it. So Jacksonville gets the ball back. And can you guess who's going to catch another ball? Can you guess who? Washington again. What we were talking about, yards after catch. Yards after catch, bro. He had so many. Look at him. He was cooking. He was cooking today. Bo has probably his best throw of the day here. He has time. He throws his bomb, beautifully thrown. Boom, right to Franklin, right in the bucket. And I'm like, here we go. They got a lot of time, 12 minutes. Nix, unfortunately, on this play, he just makes a bad read. There's no excuses for this one. There's no, Bo Nix just makes a bad read here. He throws his ball. I don't know what he's seeing here to throw this, but yeah, that was just bad. That was just a bad one. And you go back and look, he has somebody open, but Bo is looking at that side the entire time. So he doesn't even notice that he has somebody open in the middle of the field because he's already so pre-committed to throwing it there. And it just wasn't there. You can see through this play, right? As soon as he hikes this ball, he's already committed to this. He believes in his mind. He's like, I know that this is open, right? He never turns his head from this moment, ever, throughout this whole play. He never turns his head, and he has a few people open. Look, right here, open, on the right side. You see what my mouse says? Open, right? He's still holding the ball. If he holds the ball a bit more, right? He has open, under. He has 2 people, in my opinion, that are open, here and here. But he just never takes his eyes off this receiver, and I think it was just a bad play by him. It was just a bad play by him. Then we have another great run by Trevor Lawrence. This is what I'm talking about with him. When he sees his pocket breaking down, not forcing something, take the ball. He knows where it's at. He dives. He gets the first down. They got to watch it. That's how Derek Carr got injured with the Saints. When he did that dive, can't be diving like that, Trevor Lawrence. I respect the guts. I respect the heart, but you can't be diving like that. And then for the last 3 minutes, they just kind of go back and forth. Jacksonville drains the clock, and they get the win here. This was a tale of 2 halves for the Denver Broncos. Like I said, I think defensively, they were just falling apart. They were due for a bad game. Bo Nix just seemed out of sync. He was making some bad decisions, decisions you haven't really seen him make the last few weeks. RJ Harvey played a great game. But like I said, nothing really went right for the Broncos in the second half, and everything went right for Jacksonville. I like that Jacksonville didn't let up. They were not getting conservative. Trevor Lawrence was being patient. He was finding his open receivers. He was looking around the field. He wasn't eyeing down receivers. He was looking at everybody. He was finding his open man. Washington played a great game today. A lot of great plays with yards after catch. He was catching the ball for 4 yards out. He was making things happen. He turned 4 yards to 30. Huge credit to the offensive line. Yes, they made up for the Jacksonville. Yes, they gave us some sacks but for the majority of the game, they held up well against this strong defensive front. These are two great football teams. The Broncos shouldn't be super concerned about this. I think this is actually a loss that benefits them more than I think it hurts them. That's just my opinion. I know some people be like, well, this is a loss and we can't find no good in the loss. I think this is a loss that actually hurts, or that helps them more than it hurts them. You never want to have your worst game in a postseason. They came out, they had a pretty flat game on defense and offense. It's best to have this game now against a great team so you can go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, well, what did we do wrong? What can we improve? Bo Nix with those miscues, he can improve that. I wouldn't be super duper concerned if I'm the Broncos. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, this kind of solidified what I already knew about them. Is I think they're a great underrated team that enough people aren't talking about. I think Trevor Lawrence has been playing absolutely out of his goddamn mind the last few weeks. He's been playing like a psychopath. Washington, you stamped yourself today. He played a great game because they effectively were trying to focus on Myers and Brian Thomas. So that Washington had a lot of situations where like he was just like, okay, I'm just gonna cook here. And ETN had a quiet day, kind of quiet by ETN standards. But they just played great football today. Great game by two great teams. Let me know in the comment section what you thought about this game. And as always, everybody, enjoy football.